Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, it's SARA BANTA with Accelerated Health Radio and TV, and today I'm talking about something I am super passionate about, and that is protein. Especially as we get older, us men and women over the age of 40, it's hard to build that muscle and to maintain that muscle, right? And we never know how much to eat. And it's interesting because amongst a lot of my clients and even just my friends, I'll go out to dinner and the girls are always ordering salads, and then they're not eating very much protein, but then they're having their wine and their bread. And it's almost like there's this fear of protein. So whether the goal is to build muscle, optimize longevity, lose weight, or improve overall health, I want to talk about how much protein and the right protein that you need. It is controversial. And a lot of people are asking me, well, will it kick me out of ketosis or fat burning? Will it cause the weight gain? Will it lead to cancer and disease? That's another thing. A lot of people are now vegan and vegetarian, thinking that the meats are what are causing the cancer and the diseases. And the answers aren't simple. And that's because there's so many variations of protein, right? So we might be eating enough protein, but the wrong kinds. We might not be eating enough protein. We might be thinking we're getting protein from vegan sources, which aren't complete proteins. So we want to talk about why we need protein. Protein is full of amino acids, and amino acids from protein are the building blocks for all of our tissues and organs, including muscle. And muscle is directly correlated with longevity. So the more muscle you have, the longer you live. And we all want to live a long time, but we also want to feel good as we're living that long life, right? And the more muscle you have, the more you're able to do, the more active you are, the stronger you feel, and the quality of your life is going to go up as well. So to put it simply, the stronger you are, the longer you will live, and the better quality of life you'll have. And there's only one way to maintain that muscle and strength as you age. Optimize your hormonal health, reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, detox the body in a proper way while providing sufficient amino acids from protein as building blocks for the body. And this sounds simple, right? No, not really. Because a lot of times when you're detoxing, or people will go on these detoxes and they're cleansing with a juice cleanse, which is absent of all protein. So you lose all your muscle, you lose a whole bunch of water weight, you get hangry, you get headaches, you have no energy, and you're actually losing that muscle. But you're trying to detox. So then we go into the building phase and we're eating all these foods that maybe they're causing a backup in our liver. And so we're not detoxing and gaining strength and muscle at the same time. But I've got solutions. So many women and men, especially after you get over the age of 40, it is harder to maintain that muscle mass. And one of the reasons is for women, they go through menopause, perimenopause, and it causes that hormonal shift. Causes a degradation of your testosterone levels in men and women, and testosterone helps build that healthy muscle. So compared to my young daughters who are rowing every day and strong athletes, it's really easy for them to build muscles. Obviously, they have to eat the right protein and all of that, but their bodies are in a hormonal place where they're able to build more muscle much more easily than me and my husband. One of the main causes of failure is consuming the wrong protein sources, which may not only fail to provide the building blocks for muscles, but could also increase to fat storage. And we don't want to do that. You think about bodybuilders, and a lot of them like bulk up and then they cut right before the competition, right? And that cutting is like really trying to get the body dehydrated so their muscles show up, but they need to bulk in order to get that muscle on and bulk with the fat and muscle at the same time. So there's a way to do this where you're not bulking with the fat storage and muscle at the same time. It is imperative to focus on the right proteins that the body can utilize efficiently. And in the body, protein is broken down into those amino acids. And then the body then looks for essential amino acids that it can't make on its own. And if the amino acids are there in the right ratio to one another, the body can use them to make a new protein or muscle. And if there are some amino acids left over or can't be used right away, the body can store them for later with fat or sugar. And instead of converting those leftover amino acids into glucose, burn them for energy or store them as fat. So you want to have the right amino acids there available, right? They get broken down in the liver, and then the liver says, oh, I need to send some amino acids in this right combination to my bicep muscle that I worked out today. So if it doesn't have all of the proper amino acids to build that muscle, then it's not going to be able to build the muscle. And if there's leftover amino acids it's not using, it could be stored as fat. So you really need that proper full spectrum of amino acids. So the wrong proteins for building muscle, protein powders. Most protein powders see an 80% conversion into sugars and can lead to fat and muscle gain, or it can lead to fat and muscle gain. So at the same time, people focus on that 1 gram of protein, which equals 4 calories, but that's a generalization. That's not always the case. Different protein sources have different caloric amounts depending on how much of the protein is used for building new proteins versus how much is converted to sugar. And there's this thing called the thermic effect, right? So for every 100 calories of protein that you consume, 25% of those calories are actually burned just from that heat, creating heat in the body and that thermic effect. So it's really interesting when you sit down and have a steak, you're really heating up that thermic effect. But when you have some of the protein powders that are easily digested, there isn't that thermic effect. So you don't get that same thing. And then it's also some of the leftovers might be stored as fat and turned into sugar. Next are BCAAs. Everyone's taking those as their pre-workout, right? These are only 3 of the essential amino acids, but in order to make the protein, the body needs all 20. So what do? So the BCAAs are mainly converted straight into sugar, and they do kick you out of ketosis. So for all of you that are intermittent fasting and thinking that you're getting that autophagy, right? That the BCAAs are kicking you out of ketosis and kicking you out of that state of autophagy. So these are not only failing to build that muscle, but they're encouraging fat storage as well. Now let's get into the whey, the pea, and the soy protein. Whey protein, it's coming from dairy, right? Most of you have a dairy allergy. Dairy is one of the top 2 allergens that people are allergic to, and that's dairy and eggs. So if you're doing the whey, you might be creating inflammation in the body. You also are only getting 18% utilization to make new protein, and the other 82% is converted into sugar. And that's not just for whey, but that's for pea protein and soy protein as well. And so the whey is causing inflammation. It could also, the pea and the soy, these could also be increasing estrogens in the body. Now remember, we want that testosterone up. We want the growth hormone up. We don't want the estrogen up. The estrogen is a fat storing hormone. These could also be causing leaky gut because soy is full of GMOs, right? And it's very estrogenic. The pea protein is full of mold, and a lot of people are full of allergies right now, especially during this season. And that mold can trigger leaky gut. It can trigger gut pathogens to come up in the gut, like E. coli and salmonella. It can just cause inflammation throughout the body, and it's going to slow you down. It's going to make your body focus on detoxing from the mold versus in wanting to build that protein. You have to think of your body as what is it wanting to focus on right now. If your body is focused on fighting off a virus or a bacteria, it is not going to focus on getting strong and beautiful and anti-aging, right? It's always going to put something at the forefront of what is its first priority. So with the whey, the pea, and the soy protein, those could be causing inflammation, leaky gut, high histamine reactions, allergies, and it's going to trigger your body into focusing on its immune system, and it's also not utilizing very much of the protein to actually build the muscle. Now let's look at chicken, conventional beef, turkey, and pork. So chicken and broccoli is like the go-to lean building muscle formula so that you don't gain weight and you're eating the proper proteins to build up muscle, right? Well, not only do these meats cause inflammation with the high levels of omega-6 inflammatory fats, but they contain what's called amyloid proteins, which are connected to disease and autoimmunity. Those amyloids are misfolded protein structures that are usually produced in the bone marrow. But studies are now showing that the food supply, due to the bad food practices, they contribute to the externally made amyloids. Amyloids are also what are found in the brain for dementia and Alzheimer's. So you have to think of it when you eat that chicken with full of the amyloid proteins, and you think, oh, great, I'm eating 100 calories of chicken, I'm getting 25 grams of protein. Well, those proteins are going to your liver and they're not being broken down into the amino acids. They stay as the amyloid protein that cannot be broken down. Then what happens is those amyloids not only don't get used as a building tissue for the muscles, but they actually go into the brain. They can be causing Alzheimer's, dementia, getting stuck in the tissues. These protein structures have been linked to approximately 50 conditions, including infertility, diabetes, kidney dysfunction, autoimmune disease, and Alzheimer's. We've also seen that it's disrupting the insulin and the blood sugar. So you're thinking you're just eating protein. How is it affecting my insulin and blood sugar? Well, these amyloid proteins have this tripped up ability to cause issues in your system. The way cows and chickens are raised today in crowded spaces can contribute to the amyloid protein in their tissues. And when you consume these animal products, you're also consuming those amyloids, and they can also feed pathogens. There's been a new connection between the amyloids reactivating viruses in the body that are fed by the amyloids. And this is it is certain that these amyloids are not only fail to provide the usable proteins, but they'll also wreak havoc on your gut. So then what happens? You have leaky gut. Then you're not even absorbing the nutrients from the food and the protein that you are getting in. And we need the other vitamins, not just grams of protein to build that muscle. We need the vitamin Bs. We need all of these cofactor enzymes to help put together the muscle tissue and make it work, right? And to keep our hormones in balance. Well, if you've got leaky gut, you're not detoxing your estrogens properly. Your detox pathways are completely disrupted. You're inflamed. Your body's going to go into this autoimmune spiral, and it's going to just increase a backup of toxicity. So remember, if our body is dealing with this over here, the toxicity, it's not going to be focused on anti-aging and building muscle. So how do we build that healthy muscle, and what are the best sources of protein? Number one, and I'm loving this, I have to tell you, at the age of 46, I have noticed a big difference in my ability to maintain my muscle mass. So this year, it has been a huge focus of mine, and this product, PerfectAminos, has been a game changer for me. What this is, it's a pure essential amino acids in the exact ratio necessary to build new muscle proteins. And because of this, it's 99% utilized by the body. One serving of the PerfectAminos is equivalent to 30 grams of whey protein with only 2 calories. Not that calories are a big issue, but we want to make sure those calories are being used and not converted into sugar or fat. One serving of the whey protein is 120 calories. Like I said, like my daughters, I tell them they need to use the PerfectAminos. They're wanting to get stronger. They don't need to lose weight. They're actually trying to gain good muscle mass, and they're not worried about the calories. I tell them get their calories in a different way. Don't have the whey protein because it's not actually going to be as effective as the PerfectAminos with that 99% absorption rate. And then the other thing that I love is it doesn't break a fast. So what I do is I have my drink in the morning, my workout drink, and I put my PerfectAminos in there. I put my Wild Lights electrolytes or the Olaloa. I mix back and forth, right? Because we need our electrolytes, especially, and we need our accelerated ancient salt to make sure our muscles and our tissues are plumped up and we can get the blood to the muscles. That's where the electrolytes come in, okay? So you want to make sure you're doing that with your workout as well. But while I'm doing this, now remind you, I just had my accelerated keto pills to put me into ketosis, give me great energy for the day until I break my fast. And right now I still haven't broken my fast because my energy is fantastic. But I still have the PerfectAminos giving my muscles that great protein. Doesn't affect my blood sugar, doesn't affect my insulin, gives me great energy. I'm still high on my ketones in my brain, right? And it's maintaining muscle. When you're in ketosis, you're maintaining that muscle mass. And then also from the accelerated keto, you have the HMB that prevents muscle wasting. So you're in that great state. You start strength training, you take your PerfectAminos, feeding your muscles what it needs right away, super easy to digest and get to the muscles when you need them. I take 1 to 2 scoops before or during your workout, depending on where you are in your muscle building program, okay? Next, wild animal proteins. So not the chicken, not the conventional beef, not the pork, not the turkey even, unfortunately, but the wild animal proteins, which are like the deer, the elk. I love bison. That's my go-to, bison and lamb. You can find them everywhere. I've put on my website a couple different sources, by Ranch Direct, there's Wild Fork Foods, there's Wild Idea Buffalo. But if you Google wild bison or lamb sources, there's hundreds of companies around the country that can just ship to you within days. It's amazing. Try them out. They've got jerky. They've got different salamis made out of bison and lamb. All of these different things that are super yummy, great and easy snacks. It does not have to be complicated. But the wild animal proteins provide, yes, they only provide 32% of usable amino acids, but that's not all the reason that we are going with the wild animal proteins. They provide the necessary B vitamins that you cannot get in a vegan diet, the iron, magnesium, potassium, and the other nutrients needed for protein synthesis and optimal health. The body creates that thermic effect, right? Burns 25% of the calories during digestion. You will not binge on protein. I literally can have 20 to 24 ounces of a bison ribeye in front of me, and I eat it all. And I feel great, right? I don't feel bloated. My body loves it. It is absorbing it. My brain's on fire. It's also giving you the right ratio of amino acids and omega-3 fatty acids that are found in the wild protein. And you can also do wild fish, wild salmon, Arctic char, trout, all of those. What happens is the right amino acids and omega-3 fatty acids trigger a hormone in the gut called CCK, and that satisfies the sugar cravings and suppresses the appetite. So what do? When you sit down and you break your fast with wild animal protein. And if you just do that, you raise that ratio of glucagon to insulin, okay? So our insulin might bump up a little bit, but the glucagon, which is our fat burning hormone, bumps up even more, and we get even a higher bump of fat burning. But we are feeding our body those amino acids to build those muscles. So we are actually able to lean bulk, not bulk in a swollen, inflammatory way and then cut. We're bulking in a lean way, okay? So when you break your fast, you break it with wild animal protein. And if you really are on a plateau as far as your weight goes, don't add any vegetables in there. Just have the protein. And then in your next meal, have the vegetables that you want, but your protein is the basis of your nutrients. Our wild animal proteins are where we get most of the nutrients, the electrolytes, the minerals that we think we're getting from our vegetables. But the vegetables have those plant poisons like the oxalates, the lectins, and the sulfur, right? We've got the sulfur in the broccoli, in the cabbage, in the bok choy, in the kale, and the oxalates in the almonds, all nuts, most nuts, and chocolate and kale and spinach. All of those vegetables are actually creating inflammation and a backup in our liver, causing water retention, causing kidney issues, gout, low thyroid, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism. The wild animal proteins, those increase the thermic effect, those increase the metabolism and increase thyroid health. Okay, so when we're combining the intermittent fasting with the accelerated keto, with the PerfectAminos and the wild animal protein, we are increasing the thyroid and metabolism and the energy, brain and body, and building our muscles at the same time. Organic eggs. Eggs can be an allergen. Egg yolks do have sulfur in them. So if you have a reaction to sulfur, which a good clue would be is if you have a reaction to garlic or onions, which are sulfur vegetables, okay? So if you have a reaction to that, be careful with the egg yolks. But eggs are a great source of choline, great source of protein, and a great source of the proper fats. Eggs provide 48% of usable protein in addition to the healthy amount of choline, which most women, when they go through menopause, stop producing choline. So we have to get it from an outside source. I do take personally choline and inositol, which I love, and you can find it at Accelerated Health Products. But the inositol helps with your blood sugar. The choline gives you that needed choline for your brain and your body. Okay, and that's also needed for optimal detoxification in the liver. And so they also provide other nutrients other than the protein for muscle building and longevity. And they also create that thermic effect and suppress the appetite, like with that hormone called CCK. So what else can we do to add into the right proteins? We've got the organic eggs, the wild animal proteins, bison, lamb, deer, elk, grass-fed, grass-finished beef is okay. Make sure you know where you're getting it, and the PerfectAminos. So next, what you add in is the X49 patch. This was also a game changer for me. I literally, within 2 weeks of taking the PerfectAminos and having the X49 patch, I put on 2 pounds of muscle. And this is during an age when I actually started losing muscle mass. I have always been very strong in eating my wild animal protein, but these two cute tools, the X49 and the PerfectAminos, were what changed the game for me. When you combine that X49 patch, and I wear, well, this is the energy enhancer, which I'll talk about in the minute, but the X49, I put 2 inches below my belly button. When you combine that with the X49 and the wild animal protein, the PerfectAminos, the lean muscle gains are optimized while fat burning increases. X49 is based on increasing the AHK copper peptide. Now, I'm talking about the patches and talking about copper. It is important to know that you do need copper in your diet. Copper comes in fish, but I'm also coming out with accelerated copper next week. So look out for that. And that will enhance the effect of all of the stem cell patches. So it is based on the amino acid alanine. That's why a lot of vegans and vegetarians do not see results from the X49 is because they don't have the proper amino acids in their body. So that's where the wild animal proteins and the PerfectAminos are really important for these stem cell patches to work. So it increases energy and recovery after exercise, increases stamina, improves cardiovascular function and focus, reduces that belly fat. So here we are, lean bulk. Remember, we're getting that bulk, but we're leaning out at the same time, increases muscle tone and strength, increases that lean body mass and bone density. I come from a family of women with osteoporosis. That bone density is really important to me. It also can protect from 5G and radiation. And you know that I am a big believer in detoxing from radiation and protecting yourself. So it's like wearing your own Faraday cage around you, and that's from the X49. So I wear it 2 inches below my belly button for both men and women, and you just wear it during the day for 12 hours. The accelerated keto. This not only gives you that boost in mental and physical energy to work out harder when you go do your strength training, but it helps you utilize your fat stores for energy and spare the breakdown of muscle tissue. And as a result, new muscle is built on top of the existing muscle, okay? So you're not breaking down your muscle and needing 48 hours to work out that muscle group again. You are building on the muscle that you already have. It's not breaking down. It also curbs the cravings for sugar and carbs, which can lead to a breakdown of muscle and inflammatory response in the gut, which inhibits the absorption of the essential proteins that you're taking in and the other nutrients. So it's really important when you have too much sugar or carbs in your diet, your body is burning glucose for energy, right? So then it burns through the glucose and the sugar that you ate. Then what's it going to go to? It's going to actually start eating away at your muscles and turning your muscles into glucose. That's why it's really important to stay in ketosis for maintaining that muscle mass. It is the only ketone supplement that contains HMB, which prevents that muscle wasting, and that is derived from leucine, an amino acid that's known to stimulate mTOR and stimulate muscle growth. So many protein powders include leucine for muscle growth, but they don't realize that only 3% of leucine converts into HMB, and HMB is actually what stimulates the muscle building. And the combination of the pure caffeine, which really there's only the equivalent of 1/4 of a cup of coffee, but the pure caffeine gives you a really steady energy. And then combine that with teocrine and the dynamine that's in the accelerated keto creates that steady stream of energy to enhance your strength output, but gives you that great mental focus and calms your brain down for the whole day. So not just after your workout, but throughout the whole day. So I take 3 to 4 capsules in the morning. Okay. So now the Acceleradine. You think, well, why do we need Acceleradine for muscle building? It increases the metabolic health and thyroid health to give you more energy to work out harder and build more muscle. And it stabilizes blood sugar, supports protein synthesis. So you need proper iodine, and 96% of the United States is deficient in iodine, but you need that iodine to support protein synthesis, increase ATP production, which is true cellular energy in the mitochondria, by 18 times compared to someone with an iodine deficiency. 18 times, not 18%. This will in turn enhance energy, increase your fat burning, maintain that muscle mass. And it also detoxifies the cells of heavy metals and radiation, which can compromise your protein synthesis, your immune system, your energy, and your weight loss goals. And it also helps detox from the bad estrogens in the body. And those estrogens could be inhibiting your fat loss and your muscle gain. So we really want to make sure we're detoxing and not becoming estrogen dominant. And a lot of men, not just women, are having issues with estrogen dominance as they get older, and that will show up as a low libido, as man boobs, as just a lack of muscle definition, low drive, low sex drive, low drive in life, motivation in general. So that's something to look out for. So the Acceleradine is needed by every human being on earth. I mentioned my kids earlier. Our kids need that iodine, the Acceleradine, more than anyone, as same with the fetuses and the pregnant women, because it's connected to increasing or alleviating depression and mood disorders. It's also related to apoptosis. So apoptosis is programmed cell death. You go through more programmed cell death when you're a fetus and when you're going through puberty. And that's just that programmed cell death and your growth, right? So our kids need that iodine for growth, not just in muscles, but in general, brain and body. We need to make sure that they are getting their Acceleradine. Okay, next is a liver flush. Why do you need a liver flush? To get that muscle? If you are suffering from toxicity overload due to a dirty liver, the liver is going to fail to properly and efficiently assimilate the amino acids from the protein and shuttle those amino acids to the muscle tissue. So the liver flush that I recommend doing at least 3 to 4 times a year, especially now as we're being bombarded by so many toxins, radiation, heavy metals, all of these things, the shedding, right? The spiked proteins. We need to get that stuff out of our body. The liver flush is going to improve the breakdown of proteins and fats so that we can then build those amino acids back into tissues to go to where they need to go. It eliminates pain, cramps, and inflammation throughout the body, replaces those damaged liver cells with the healthy ones, reverses fatty liver disease, eliminates thousands of toxins and pollutants out of the liver so it can properly work. So the thyroid hormones can convert from T4 to T3. That happens in the liver. If the liver is full of these pea-sized little stones, how is it going to burn fat? How is it going to actually convert the non-active or inactive thyroid hormone into the active thyroid hormone so that you actually have energy in body and mind? Okay, so it's really important. A lot of people will say they get nauseous on a ketogenic diet because it's the fat makes them nauseous. That's a sign you need a liver flush. Your gallbladder digests those fats. And a lot of people are actually having a hard time with fat digestion and protein digestion after having COVID or being exposed to the spike protein one way or the other. So what you need is a liver flush. You need the Acceleradine to start reversing the damage done to the DNA by the mRNA. And you also then need to focus on lean animal protein, wild animal protein without the extra fats. And you combine that with the accelerated keto to put you into ketosis to start burning that liver fat and the PerfectAminos. Why is the PerfectAminos a game changer? Because it's so easily absorbed. It's not putting pressure on the liver. So it's a really great tool to help build that muscle as we start cleansing our liver. Okay, the X39 patch. This is a stem cell activation patch that works with the X49. It activates the body's own stem cell production by elevating GHK copper peptides. So another reason we need our copper for regeneration and repair. And it resets over 4,000 genes to a younger state, helps repair collagen in the tissues and activates stem cell production, and encourages that apoptosis, especially of the cancer cells and damaged disease cells. We want to get rid of those. You have to imagine your body acting as if you are 20 instead of 46 or 50, right? And what does our 20-year-old body do really well? It builds muscle really well. So the X39 is reversing our age. So not only are we giving our body the right protein to build, but we are giving it its reversed aging tools to act as if we were our 20-year-old self. So my body and my stem cells are acting like my daughters, right? So as we wear this during the day, it's reducing inflammation, helps with wound healing, sleep, helps with your skin, your hair, all of those wonderful things. But as you're also sleeping better, you're recovering and building that muscle tissue back up, because you do a lot of that restore in brain and body during our sleeping hours. And so many people are having trouble sleeping, but we are detoxing as well as if we are a younger version of ourselves. So that's also our detox pathways are open and working better as well. Okay, one thing I didn't mention about the X49 patch, which is just a bonus, it helps with hair growth and skin, but hair growth especially. And women and men right now are losing their hair. And it's because of the last couple of years, what we've gone through, the spiked proteins, and also just the fear and the level of stress. So the X49 really does help with that hair growth and actually can turn the color back into your original color. The Carnosine Patch. Carnosine can help improve strength, stamina, endurance, pain relief, and it's been shown to increase longevity. And it's great for repairing the tissues, the muscle tears, tendonitis, all of those great things, building muscle. It also has been shown to help with cognition, eyesight, heart health, and sugar regulation issues. I love it. I actually wear it at night on my temples. I've got my glutathione on one temple and my carnosine on the other. You can also wear it behind your ears. You can wear it in the center here. You can wear it almost anywhere, night or day. So that's a great one that you can just wear. A lot of people like to wear it at night, so they're not wearing so many patches during the day. The next one is the energy enhancer. And I love this one because it increases energy, fat burning, endurance, reduces fatigue and muscle soreness. It increases caloric burn on average by 300 calories a day. I wear them here, and then I also can wear them on the bottom of my feet. The body has more energy to work out harder, to build more strength, burn more fat, and you utilize the proteins you're taking in effectively to build that healthy muscle. And it can also be used on acupuncture points for nausea, reflux, improved digestion, helps with edema and water retention. So a lot of things that it helps. It also signals the body to increase beta oxidation in the mitochondria for fat burning. So you have to think the goal is to increase muscle mass. Muscle mass is directly correlated to longevity, but you want to do it in a way where you're not bulking in an inflammatory way and then having to cut, right? We need to provide our body with the proper Acceleradine iodine, the proper salts, accelerated ancient salt, which helps plump up the muscles to get the blood to the muscles and take those amino acids to where it needs to go. If you have any questions about this, make sure you join my group coaching. You can add that in. You can do that with the link below. Leave a comment below. Share this with your friends and family. There are so many people that are suffering from estrogen dominance, from hormonal imbalances, from insulin resistance, toxicity. All of those things just then cause the spiral reaction of a degradation of our bodies. And once you start eating the proper foods, the sugar cravings go away, the brain fog goes away, the disease goes away. I actually feel like I just was exposed to that virus, and I feel fine. But my scan that I do on my Genius Insight app and my AMP coil, which you can check both of those things out at acceleratedhealthproducts.com, is showing that I've been exposed. But I feel great and feel fine I'm not missing a beat. I'm still working out every day, going for my walks, feeling great, doing this. So with that, your immune system stays strong. You're eating the right foods. You're suppressing your appetite for the sugar and the carbs, and you're stabilizing that insulin, right? And we're reducing inflammation, healing our gut, and everything kind of works together. So join my free group coaching if you haven't already on Telegram. The link is below. Join us every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And and 1 o'clock on Tuesdays every week at 1 o'clock Pacific time. You can join me with my guests. And if you have any questions for me, just put them in the chat below or on the comments below or in my Telegram group education. Thanks again and have a great week.